Okay, this part of the digestive system is going to cover the esophagus to the duodenum. So the esophagus is a flat muscular tube that runs from the laryngopharynx, or kind of the mouth area, down to the stomach. And it goes through the diaphragm at the esophageal hiatus, where it meets up with the stomach, and it goes into the stomach via the gastroesophageal sphincter. Now, before we get into stomach stuff, I just want to go over some sciencey words. The anatomical word for swallowing is degluttination. Digestion is something we're going to do, and that's just the breakdown of food, and mastication is chewing. And a side note is that once we've swallowed food, we can't control what it does. We don't tell our muscles to contract to move food down the digestive system. I also want to show you this picture of this. This is tissue from the esophagus, and so see how it's folded? So when you swallow a big bite, it will expand to accommodate that. And the stomach does the same thing too. So just some basic parts of the stomach that I want to go over. So the gastroesophageal sphincter would be around here. The top part of the stomach that holds gases is called the fundus. You have the greater curve here, which is the big curve, and then the lesser curve, the little curve. Inside the stomach are little bumps called rugae, and then the stomach empties into the duodenum through the pyloric sphincter. Now, the stomach, as you guys should know, is very acidic, and that is because of parietal cells. So the stomach has these parietal cells, two types of cells that release stuff. Parietal cells release hydrochloric acid, which has a pH of 2, and it also releases intrinsic factor, which helps you absorb vitamin B12 in kids. So a way to remember that is parents' parietal cells are acidic to kids. So the parietal cells are the ones that release hydrochloric acid. Chief cells produce pepsinogen, which helps break down proteins, and chief cells also produce lipases, which break down fats. Pepsinogen is just like lingual lipase, however, in the fact that it needs to be in that acidic environment to work well. Because of this acidic environment, the stomach has a mucosal layer over it, and that prevents the hydrochloric acid from eating through the stomach and going into the rest of the body. So stomach cells work a lot like skin cells in the fact that they grow and then they fall off really fast. So in about 4 to 6 days, or at least every week, you have new stomach cells that are being exposed to that acidic environment that you have. This acidic environment can lead to problems, though, such as an ulcer. So if that acidic environment eats through all the way through the stomach wall and leaves a little hole, then that's an ulcer. You can also get gastritis, which is just inflammation of that stomach/mucosal barrier. And then also heartburn or acid reflux is the hydrochloric acid coming up through the gastroesophageal sphincter. And so if that erodes, you can get esophageal cancer, which isn't really good. When you do eat, the stomach releases a hormone called gastrin, and that triggers the small intestine to move along the digestive system. And then just like the esophagus tissue, how it's able to stretch, how the esophagus tissue is able to stretch, the stomach does the same thing, and it accommodates. So if you eat a big meal, it stretches, and then when it shrinks back to size, that shrinking is what gives you the hunger. And then moving on to the duodenum.